with Cher again. Botman now. Back to the Swiss centre-back. This time he goes over the top looking for a run. It's not going to find Joe Linton or again. Gordon. Alexander-Arnold with the header. Up to Salah. Now Gakpo. Lucky deflection. The ball falls into the path of Szoboszlai. But poor pass this time from the Hungarian. And it's won back by Newcastle. They chip it forward to the halfway line, but the first man to it is Virgil van Dijk. Andy Robertson taking no chances. 1-2 between him and his goalkeeper. Moving forward this time, Robertson. He slips as he plays the ball forward. And it's going to be an easy one for Sven Botman to pick up for the Magpies. Takes the pace right out of the game and then plays it across to Dan Burn. No Lewis Hall for Newcastle this afternoon. New acquisition, season-long loan from Chelsea, but Eddie Howe says that his fitness is not quite there yet. Newcastle still in possession inside their own half. As I say that, they give it away. Szoboszlai. 1-2 with Virgil van Dijk on the halfway line. Now Szoboszlai tries to play one over the top, but there was no runner. Not one he could find anyway. Van Dijk back out to Robertson and then to Van Dijk again. Plays it square to Alisson, who's on the edge of his own area. Alisson goes long through the middle looking for Salah. Won't reach him. It's going to fall to Guimaraes in the middle. Lovely touch, flicks it over his own head and goes on a run. He's brought down by Alexis McAllister. Free kick to Newcastle. 40 yards from goal in a central position. And it's the Argentinian fouling the Brazilian there. Tried to bring him down one way then the other, Alexis McAllister. Of course, we'll still have that red card to his name being sent off against Bournemouth, but it was a rather surprising call in the first place, and not so surprisingly, there'll be no suspension. Oh, that's exactly why he's out there this afternoon. So free kick for Newcastle. Kieran Trippier is over it. It's far too far out for the shot, and it's really central. So it's a difficult one for him to chip into a dangerous area. He's going to try and go to Dan Burn on the back post. It won't reach him. Headed up by Cody Gakpo. And then Luis Diaz tries to clear it, but it's blocked. It goes out of play for a Liverpool throw. Deep inside their own territory, and Luis Diaz, I think, got caught on the ankle or the top of the foot as he went to clear that one. Quick hobble, and he's off and running again. Andy Robertson will take the throw. Goes forward looking for Gakpo. It won't quite reach him. Then Luis Diaz. A little bit scrappy at the moment. Joe Linton for Newcastle. Needs Kieran Trippier to help tidy things up. He finds Fabian Cher. Botman and Burn involved. Midway inside their own half. Cher once more. Has to use his centre-back partner. Now Dan Burn being put under a bit of pressure now. Gakpo and Salah near to him. Has to use his goalkeeper. Now Cher once more. Being forced further and further back, Newcastle, but a good pass. Trippier into Tonali, and they're off and running. Now Almiron trying to skip past Robertson on the wing. Now he cuts infield. He's got a man out wide. It's Tonali. Tonali with the cross. Van Dijk with the header away, but Anthony Gordon's going to pick it up. So that's it fall for him on the left wing. Infield to Guimaraes. Crossfield he goes. Oh, and Kieran Trippier was there up from the back. And he couldn't just quite bring it under control quickly enough, and it bobbles out of play over the goal line. It's going to be a goal kick for Newcastle. We've had just over 14 minutes, and it's 0-0. Neither side has had an effort on goal of any note. Just one header from Joel Matip from the corner in the first minute that went well over Nick Pope's goal. Liverpool tried to go infield to Gakpo, but Joe Linton backtracking. Did well to intercept. Trippier on the ball. Guimaraes. Back to Botman. He spreads it wide to Gordon. Gordon turns. Wide out on the left. Back infield to Guimaraes. This time he spreads it across the right-hand side, and Almiron did really well. He had to leap high and take that one down with his chest under pressure. Infield, back to Guimaraes. 4 red shirts around him. Somehow he keeps it alive with a lucky ricochet. Isak. Now Joe Linton, he takes a shot first time with his right foot from the left-hand side, but it's straight into the stomach of his compatriot Allison. Really dogged, determined work there from Bruno Guimaraes. So many Liverpool players around him, but he just wouldn't give up the ghost. Ball into Alexander Isak. He went wide, the edge of the area to Joe Linton. And a good save, comfortably held by Allison. Was straight at him, but blew away a few cobwebs, I'm sure. Joe Linton now with a touch out wide to Gordon. Receives it back now from Dan Burn. Guimaraes with his back to goal. Botman getting his feet in a bit of a tangle, but finds Anthony Gordon. Lovely 1-2 between Gordon and Joe Linton. Gordon again takes another shot and it's bobbling. It took a deflection, and Allison has to dive down to his left, but it's again a very comfortable one for the big goalkeeper. And we are starting to see a few shots on target in anger now. Lovely throw out from Allison. Finds Trent Alexander-Arnold, who brings a man, beats a man with the header. But then his pass in field can't find a teammate. Newcastle on the charge again. But a poor pass this time from Guimaraes. One back by Matip. Szoboszlai chips one out to the wing, where he finds Luis Diaz. Diaz on the left-hand side. Beats Kieran Trippier into the area. Still going Luis Diaz. What a run and what a shot, and it's a good save. Nick Pope at his near post had to react to that one quickly. Got his right hand to it. Luis Diaz, no backlift on the shot. Just had to poke it forward as he was getting closed down. He did so well. He beat Kieran Trippier with ease. And Tonali was putting him under pressure. And the shot from just beyond the 6-yard line, it would have beaten Nick Pope at his near post had he not got that strong hand to it. 17 minutes gone, and the last 3 minutes or so, it's really livened up in terms of attacking play. Over comes the corner. Far too close to Dan Burn, who heads it away. It's gone out for a throw. Again over on that far side. Taken to McAllister, who's back there. Alexander-Arnold now over the top, but straight to Kieran Trippier, who nonchalantly chests it back straight into the arms of Nick Pope. Short pass from Scher to Tonali. Back to Pope again, being pressurised, as is Sven Botman, and Mohamed Salah got a touch on his attempted pass forward, but he couldn't prevent it from going out of play. It will be just a goal kick to Newcastle, but Liverpool trying to show them that if they're going to try and play it out from the back, well, they've got to do it quickly, they've got to do it efficiently. Jason Tindall in discussion with Eddie Howe, of course he was. Nick Pope takes the goal kick long out to the the right-hand side. Headed in play by Kieran Trippier, but Newcastle not really able to do anything with it. Again, very scrappy in the middle of the park. Joe Linton finally brings it down for Newcastle. Guimaraes out wide. Dan Burn picks it up on the halfway line. Wide on the Newcastle left wing. Joe Linton out to Gordon now. Infield, uses Joe Linton once more. Good tackle though by Luis Diaz. Endo now. Picks it up again from Virgil van Dijk. Alexis McAllister being pressurised by Tonali, and then the ball straight out of play from Alexander-Arnold. Dan Burn takes the throw in quickly. Picks out Joe Linton. Joe Linton driving forward on the left-hand side. Now checks back. Uses Sandro Tonali. Sven Botman across to Fabian Scher. Up to the halfway line. Chips it over the top, but Kieran Trippier knew pretty early on that he wasn't going to be able to reach that one. Thanks his man and appreciates the idea, even though the execution was lacking for Eddie Howe's Magpies. Just 5 defeats in the whole of the last season for Newcastle United. One of them, of course, against Liverpool back on the 18th of February. 2-0 at St James's Park. Darwin Núñez and Cody Gakpo with the goals that afternoon. 20 minutes gone. You're listening to Flash Scores live audio coverage of the Premier League. And it's Newcastle 0, Liverpool 0. Joel Matip. His pass forward easily cut out by Dan Burn. Now Joe Linton. Short pass forward to Isak, who turns and he's fouled. Endo, the man who brought the big Swedish striker to the floor. Newcastle have taken the free kick, played it back into their own half. Fabian Schär plays a 1-2 with Guimaraes. Tonali also coming deep to take a touch, play it back to the Swiss. Sven Botman forward to Isak, but a poor first touch from him. And he did manage to win a throw. Trent Alexander-Arnold just poking it out of play before Isak could recover. Dan Burn to take it 10 yards inside the Liverpool half. Looking for some options. Guimaraes coming short, receives it. But his back flick didn't really work out. And Liverpool are able to clear away. And Nick Pope again out of his area. Decides this time the best course of action is to head it out of play. And he scampered back as quickly as he could. So there's a throw in for Liverpool this time. About 25 yards from the corner flag. Trent Alexander-Arnold though throws it all the way back to Joel Matip on the halfway line. Infield he goes to Van Dijk. Van Dijk across to Andy Robertson. Endo coming deep. Alisson. Wide to Andy Robertson. Forward to Luis Diaz, who tries to play the ball forward, but he's played it straight out over the touchline when under quite a lot of pressure from a couple of Newcastle players. Kieran Trippier plays the ball back to Fabian Schär. He goes across to Botman. Simple ball, 10 yards forward to Guimaraes. And he uses Schär once more. Holman again. Burn this time, still very much at walking pace for the Magpies. Forward to Joe Linton this time. Joe Linton tries to turn around Szoboszlai, still being put under pressure by the Hungarian, but gets away from him well. Infield to Tonali. Tonali spreads it across, looking for Almiron. Almiron's going to have to really got to keep this one in play. Has he done so? No, he hasn't. It was a little bit behind him, and the bouncing ball made it incredibly difficult. He almost got there, Miguel Almiron, but he went out of play. And that was a bit of a breakdown in communication there. Wataru Endo not on the same wavelength as one of his new teammates Andy Robertson. Newcastle have taken the resulting throw. Guimaraes now back to Botman. Burn on the halfway line. Over a quarter of the game is gone. We're in the 24th minute now. Still 0-0. Both goalkeepers have been forced into saves. Cody Gakpo. Wide he goes to Mohamed Salah on the edge of the area. Salah cuts in field and shoots on his left foot. But this one's straight down the throat of Nick Pope. Pope rolls it out to Kieran Trippier, who's in space and is already up to the halfway line. He's going to let Miguel Almiron take over. Almiron back to the English fullback. He chips it forward as the Paraguayan kept making his run to the edge of the area. Now Almiron looking dangerous, running at Virgil van Dijk. Checks back, puts a crossover. Endo with a half clearance. And then McAllister tidies up before Almiron can win it back. And Van Dijk and Robertson can bring it away for the Reds. Robertson being put under pressure by Tonali and just has to whack the ball down the line, which Nick Pope went and collected. The Newcastle centre-backs using Guimaraes with their passing triangles again. Now to Tonali. Trying to get away from McAllister. 1-2. And another pass. Sharing Guimaraes. Guimaraes tries to turn, but is Well tackled. Oh, and a slip there from Robertson. And this is let Gordon in. Gordon's through on goal. Anthony Gordon! Newcastle United have taken the lead in the 25th minute. And under no real pressure at all, Trent Alexander-Arnold failed to control the back pass. And quick as a flash, the former Evertonian Anthony Gordon was onto it, bearing down on goal. And he beat Alisson. It was passed back from Mohamed Salah, and Trent Alexander-Arnold just took his eye off it, and there was no chance for he or Virgil van Dijk to get back and close Anthony Gordon down. A couple of touches from Gordon, oh, and through the legs of Alisson as well, just to top it off. Liverpool's defences have been questioned over the last year or so, and they've started today with another defensive error. Anthony Gordon with his first goal of the season, his second in a Newcastle shirt. And it's Newcastle United 1, Liverpool 0. Gordon grabbed himself an assist against Aston Villa 2 weeks ago. And it was on the final day last season at Stamford Bridge. Oh, he broke the deadlock. He's up to the same trick again. 7 goals as an Everton player in 78 appearances. And he's made it 2 in 19 for the Magpies. Liverpool get us underway again. Szoboszlai out wide to Robertson, forward to McAllister, tries to find Luis Diaz, but Kieran Trippier stepped in well to win that one back. In the middle is Joe Linton, wide to the goal scorer Gordon, skips past Trent again. Lovely ball forward to Isak, who's gone down under the challenge of Virgil van Dijk, and the referee's got a big decision to make here. It's off, it's red card. Virgil van Dijk has been sent off. And Liverpool's last few minutes have gone from bad to worse. Jurgen Klopp can't believe it. Virgil van Dijk is saying no way. And Isak is still down. It was a beautiful through ball, perfectly timed from Anthony Gordon, who's having a wonderful afternoon against his old rivals. And from what I saw with the live pictures, it seemed that Virgil van Dijk clipped Isak on the ankles at the edge of the area as he was going to bear down on goal. And he was the last man, Van Dijk, prevented a clear goal-scoring opportunity, which, under the laws of the game, is a red card. We may well have this checked. Just seeing a first replay of it now. I didn't seem to get any of the ball, Virgil van Dijk. And he got an awful lot of Alexander Isak's ankle. I think that was a good decision by the referee. And I don't think that Van Dijk has much of a hope here. No question of offside either. It was a perfectly timed run and perfectly timed ball. And that seems to be it. The referee is saying, off you go, Virgil. A wry smile from Jurgen Klopp. He's just lost his captain. He's just lost his centre-back. Of course, Ibrahima Konate injured in the week as well. They've got Joe Gomez on the bench and the youngster Jarrell Quansah, so perhaps Joe Gomez was tempting fate. He was warming up after 5 minutes. Shouts of cheerio from 50,000 Newcastle fans around the ground as Virgil van Dijk finally makes his way off the field. He's chatting with his manager, who seems fairly sympathetic. But I think when they'll see that one back, they can't have too many complaints. Yeah, Jurgen Klopp is trying to keep the rest of his technical team away from fourth official Craig Pawson. But As far as I've seen, multiple replays, various angles, and for me, the referee has made the correct decision there. Really poor challenge by Van Dijk, completely mistimed, right through the back of Alexander Isak. And so it's going to be a free kick for Newcastle United, just a couple of yards from the edge of the Liverpool area. And Kieran Trippier can't really ask for a better place to strike from. We've had a long stoppage in play, just over 30 minutes have elapsed. Newcastle are trying to make their wall next to the Liverpool one to block Alisson's view. There's a four-man wall for Liverpool plus a draft excluder. And there's a three-man Newcastle wall, which Alexis McAllister is stood in front of. And Fabian Schär and Kieran Trippier are over this free kick. Schär might just roll it. Schär strikes into the wall. Then Tonali with the rebound. And his shot is low and it goes wide of Alisson's goal. And Joe Gomez is getting ready to come on. Who is going to make way? In fact, Tonali's shot took a deflection. So it will be a Newcastle United corner, which Kieran Trippier wants to take before they can make the substitution, Liverpool. Kieran Trippier with his right foot, an in-swinger on the near side. Over it comes, Trippier. He's looking for the back post where Byrne's there. Byrne back across, and Alisson read that one. Liverpool didn't have a runner, didn't have a marker with Dan Byrne there. Left the 6 foot, what is he, 6'8", I think. Ball back, all three at the back post. But Alisson was ready for the header back across goal. Ball is still in play. Almiron to Botman. Botman and Schär. Newcastle, I think, will want to try and slowly build an attack, keep Liverpool down. Well, they're going to have to stay down to 10 men, but prevent them from reshuffling their pack and bringing the substitutes on. And play it over the top where Gakpo was stood a mile offside, and I think they were almost trying to concede a free kick there, Newcastle, to make the substitution. Nick Pope put it out of play, and then finally they will be able to make the change. And sacrificed is Luis Diaz, who unsurprisingly looks very irritated by that decision. He's already walked off on the far side. So on for Liverpool comes Joe Gomez for his second appearance of the season. Played a few minutes last time against Bournemouth. No, in fact, he was part of the reshuffle after the red card for Alexis McAllister. Gomez getting his first touches, receiving the ball from his goalkeeper. Now Endo. Endo straight through the middle, over the halfway line to Mohamed Salah. Salah has some support on his left-hand side. Finds Andy Robertson. Back in field to Endo. He's got a lot of space. Newcastle now really sitting back against Liverpool. And considering they've got the man advantage, seems a little bit odd. Lovely ball forward from McAllister to Salah. Salah tries to use Gakpo, trying to keep it alive on the edge of the area. Plenty of black and white shirts around them. Out wide, cross from Robertson, but it's too close to Nick Pope, who thinks about the quick rollout, but goes against it instead, and then finally rolls it to his left-hand side, where Dan Byrne is in possession for the Magpies. In field they go to Bruno Guimaraes. Schär to Botman again. Wide to Gordon. Anthony Gordon is really enjoying running at Trent Alexander-Arnold, who's got the bees of him again. Step over, then cuts back to Joe Linton. Poor touch from him, but Dan Byrne was able to tidy up. Schär and Botman now 15 yards inside Liverpool territory. Nice ball out wide from Guimaraes to Trippier. Trippier deflects it. Tonali keeps it alive and wins the corner. Endo back there to block the low cross from Sandro Tonali when he got to the byline. He was going to go out for a Newcastle corner anyway. But Tonali just trying to see if he could poke it into a dangerous area. So another corner for Trippier to take on the far side. The man short is Almiron. Trippier again. Chips it over the top. Trent Alexander-Arnold with the header away. It falls to Almiron. Oh, what a save by Alisson. Turns it onto his own bar and then punches it out for a corner kick. Excellent reaction save by Alisson. Almiron trying to tidy up, trying to keep it alive at the edge of the Liverpool area. Chested it and then volleyed with his left foot. Alisson had to make a really smart save, turn it onto his own bar. Another corner comes in. Gomez heads it away. And another volley comes in from Almiron, but this one goes a couple of yards wide. 36 minutes on the clock. It's Newcastle 1, Liverpool 0, and the Reds are down to 10 men. Seeing another replay of that save from Alisson. Made the dive to his left, and the ball struck him on one hand, then the other. That's what deflected it up onto the crossbar. And then when sitting on the floor, had to reach up, just punch the bouncing ball away before anyone else in black and white come in and bury it. Anthony Gordon can't keep the ball out wide to him in play, and Liverpool have won themselves a throw midway inside their own half. Trent Alexander-Arnold over to Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai has gone down under a challenge as Newcastle regain possession. I think he's going to be okay. Guimaraes now moving infield, then spreads the ball out wide to Kieran Trippier. Excellent control by Trippier, takes it in his stride. Cross comes over and it's just beyond Joe Linton, and Alisson came out for it and couldn't grab it. Kept in play on the near side by Anthony Gordon. Back to Guimaraes with another cross, and Alisson with another unconvincing punch. Trippier, Almiron on the edge of the box, another shot from him, and this one is over the top of the crossbar. And Alisson not looking convincing at all at the moment. He did make that really good save from Almiron's shot a couple of minutes ago. Twice in a matter of seconds, comes off his line and doesn't deal with the crosses. Has a goal kick to take now, plays it out to the left-hand side where Andy Robertson collects. Robertson continues to move forward over the halfway line. Forward to Gakpo. Gakpo loses out. Tonali now for Newcastle. Guimaraes. Back to Fabian Schär. Infield to Joe Linton. Joe Linton, lovely ball over the top. Can Isak keep it in play? No, he can't. Joe Linton's ball forward first time. Just didn't have the curl on it. And it wouldn't sit up nicely for Alexander Isak. He couldn't keep it in play. Joe Gomez forward to Endo. Endo to Gakpo, who was retreating and is fouled. Joe Linton. Can't believe that he committed that. Just laughs it off. Retreats back into his own half. Shots of Lewis Hall on my screen at the moment. Will be a Newcastle player for the season on loan from Chelsea. Really impressed me in the few games that I've seen him play last season at Stamford Bridge. One of the brighter sparks in a really awful season for the Blues. Free kick to be taken by Robinson. Forward to Salah, wide to Gakpo. He's tackled. Almiron out there to prod the ball out of play. Liverpool have taken the throw-in back to Andy Robertson. Plays on back to Alisson. Alisson to Endo, who's under some pressure. And the foul committed. A little bit over-eager there, Bruno Guimaraes. Liverpool free kick. Midway inside their own half. Matip takes it to Gomez. Sure, Matip again. Alexander-Arnold in field this time. Joe Gomez now. Brings the ball 15 yards forward or so. Then lays it off to Robertson. McAllister comes and collects. Endo. His touch back to Gomez. Cross to Robertson. Cross to Matip once more. Alexander-Arnold. And Gakpo's made the run as he stayed on side. He has, according to the linesman, gets forced out wide, and his cross is turned away, and Newcastle have won it back. Good pass forward by Joe Linton, finds Anthony Gordon in the middle. Over the halfway line he comes. It's 3 against 3 here for Newcastle. Wide to Almiron on the edge of the box. Kieran Trippier in support. It wasn't the best ball from Almiron. Trippier keeps it alive, but he's been forced right out wide by Robertson, and then the ball is cut out by Alexis McAllister. Endo for Liverpool now. Midway inside his own half. Trent Alexander-Arnold. Wide. Endo has to go and pick it up himself. Skips away from Gordon. Plays the ball back to Alexander-Arnold. Endo now. McAllister on the halfway line. Salah. And then Szoboszlai back to Endo on the halfway. Good passing from Liverpool, but they're going nowhere with it. McAllister. Goes wide to Alexander-Arnold, who's getting forward. Back to Matip on the halfway line. Newcastle just happy to sit with everyone behind the ball, trying to force Liverpool to play through them. Gomez takes the 1-2 with Andy Robertson. Matip being pressured by Isak, but able to find Gomez again. Endo. Liverpool now 10 yards, 15 yards inside their own half, being forced back. Gomez needs some options, and the only option is Alisson. Isak closes Gomez down again. Turns away from him nicely, though. Endo. Matip again. I've lost count of the number of passes for Liverpool, and finally Alisson just puts his boot through it, and Liverpool are basically back up to where they were a minute ago, 10 yards inside Newcastle territory, but they give away a free kick, and Newcastle are on the ball again and instantly coming forward. Kieran Trippier on the right. Almiron ahead of him. Almiron picks it up. 1-2 with Trippier. Guimaraes. Tonali. Back to the halfway line with Botman. Dan Burn wide to Anthony Gordon. Gordon infield back to Guimaraes. Over the top he goes, looking for the runner, and it wouldn't reach Almiron. Where's it going to fall? Not for Isak. And then Joe Linton through the back of Endo. And it's going to be a foul and a free kick for Liverpool. Midway inside their own territory again. And John Brooks, I think, is saying to Joe Linton, one more like that, and I'm going to have to book you. Joe Linton finally retreats. Jurgen Klopp giving a signal to his players. Hopefully it means more to them than it does to me. Now Alisson has taken the free kick short to Matip. Poor pass back behind Gomez. He has to retreat into his own area, then play the pass to Alisson. McAllister, and then Matip. Lovely ball down the wing. Picks out Trent Alexander-Arnold, who's got forward. Ball across to Salah, 20 yards from goal. Wide of him is Andy Robertson. Robertson on the edge of the box. Back to Endo, now McAllister. Try to get away from Almiron, and he's fouled. Almiron just grabbed him or got a piece of his shirt.
YouTube.
Endo with a short pass. Square ball to McAllister. He just tried to turn around Almiron, but Almiron decided he wanted to have a feel. of what it's like to touch a World Cup winner. I've never done it. And a free kick then for Liverpool, about 30 yards from goal. It's going to have to be a great strike to beat Nick Pope from this kind of range. Trent Alexander-Arnold is looking interested. It's very central. So again, a difficult one to try and chip. He takes the shot on, it's over the bar. It was beginning to dip. It was Szoboszlai who hit it in the end. Now we've hit the 45-minute mark. And 4 minutes have been added on, of which 18 seconds have elapsed, and it's still Newcastle United 1, Liverpool 0, and it's the former Toffee. And they've not been doing very well without him, it has to be said, since he moved up to the northeast in January. Anthony Gordon with the goal, following a mistake from Trent Alexander-Arnold, and just a few minutes later, a red card for Virgil van Dijk. Liverpool have one possession back in midfield. Szoboszlai into McAllister, and this time Joe Linton, no, I thought for a second there he'd got away with one. It's another challenge that John Brooks doesn't like from the Brazilian. Just caught McAllister there. Over the top, Liverpool go looking for Salah, but it's not going to reach him. Joe Linton picks it up. Oh, a heavy touch there from Botman. He just about managed to play it back to Nick Pope before Salah came and robbed him of possession. But the ball from Nick Pope was pretty poor. And then, as a result, Tonali has fouled Cody Gakpo, and it's going to be a Liverpool free kick. Andy Robertson on the left-hand side, not exactly wide out on the wing, and about 35 yards from goal, maybe a bit more, 40 or so. So again, not the easiest one to whip into the box. Newcastle keeping their offside line a few yards from goal, and the ball comes in from Robertson. It's turned behind. I think it was Joe Linton who got the final touch. He's gone down holding his knee. Robertson's ball was looking for Joe Gomez. He was the only one who really made a run into the area to try and meet it with his header. He had 3 black and white shirts around him, and one of them was able to head behind for a corner kick. We're in the 3rd minute of the 4 that were added on, and Trent Alexander-Arnold is going to take this corner with his right foot. Isak back doing the defensive work for Newcastle. Overcomes the corner. Now he's just seemed to evade everybody. Salah thought he was being held. Szoboszlai tidies up, but is he going to be robbed of possession? No, he's done so well to keep hold of the ball with 3 players around him. Excellent work by Szoboszlai. Finds McAllister. He's gone down on the edge of the box. Still alive. No foul, says the referee. Tonali in there. Tonali does so well to bring it away for Newcastle. And then skips away from a couple of challenges, and I think he took a tumble there, really. I don't think Joe Gomez was at fault. And the referee, though, has given Newcastle United a free kick. We're in the final minutes of the original 4. Newcastle free kick, about 5 yards inside their own half, very wide on their right-hand side. Kieran Trippier just plays the ball back to Fabian Schär. Trippier once more. Newcastle are quite content with going into the break 1-0 up. Maybe they'll have one final attack. Gordon. Joe Linton keeps it in play on the left wing. Back in field to Isak. Isak needs some support. It's not coming quick enough. Szoboszlai wins it back. And he wins Liverpool a throw-in. Last touch coming off Anthony Gordon. Trent Alexander-Arnold will take the throw, and that probably will be about that. Throw-in taken, and then cleared up to the halfway line, and that is the end of the half. Mistake, costly mistake from Trent Alexander-Arnold, who was booked after 5 minutes, and then after 25, it was his miscontrol that allowed Anthony Gordon to run free and place the ball through the legs of Alisson to give Newcastle a 1-0 lead. And then just 3 minutes later, a poor challenge from Virgil van Dijk on Alexander Isak. He brought him down when he was the last man. Straight red card for Liverpool's captain. And at half-time, it's Newcastle United 1, Liverpool 0. Join me in a few minutes' time for second half coverage. do it without Van Dijk. Going to have to do it without Luis Diaz as well. And we are soon to get things back underway. Newcastle will kick us off for the second half, going from left to right as I look at things. And it's Alexander Isak who is going to play the ball back to Bruno Guimaraes. There's the referee's whistle and we are underway. Guimaraes spreads it wide to Dan Burn. Anthony Gordon now on the far side on the Newcastle United left wing. Botman and Cher combining again. The Dutchman Sven Botman, his opposite number and compatriot, of course, playing no further part in this one. Cher and Botman under no real pressure again, wide to Burn. He goes forward to Anthony Gordon on the halfway line. Newcastle just happy to maintain possession inside their own half in this opening minute of the second 45. Anthony Gordon again, a few yards inside his own half, cuts in off the wing and plays the ball across to Fabian Cher. He does finally go forward and it's cut out by Joel Matip, but it's going to fall back to Dan Burn. Burn forward to Gordon. Gordon having another run at Trent Alexander-Arnold. Gets the cross in. It's a dangerous one. It takes two deflections and it's finally turned away by Alexander-Arnold after the touch from Gomez. Joel Matip almost took it away from his fellow centre-back. And the Liverpool defence looking shaky already in the second half. And Newcastle trying to capitalise now with Kieran Trippier. He goes infield to Guimaraes. Wide to Burn. A few yards inside Liverpool territory. Anthony Gordon in space, cutting in off the wing, gets to the edge of the area, goes past Alexander-Arnold again, gets to the byline, cross to Alexander Isak who goes down. No foul, says the referee. Isak just got ahead of his marker to turn the ball goalwards, but no real power on it. And a comfortable one for Alisson to gather. And no foul committed by Joe Gomez. It was just Isak trying to reach around him with his left foot and just hook the ball goalwards. That caused him to lose his balance. Just while I was seeing replays of that, we've had another foul. Cody Gakpo this time has gone down. And he was just clipped from behind. I thought it was Sandro Tonali who was the guilty man. And then Joe Linton came in out of nowhere. And Gakpo got caught in the sandwich between them. A free kick to Liverpool then. In a central area, 40 yards from goal. Alexander-Arnold and Szoboszlai interested in this one. Szoboszlai now has left it. Matip and Gomez wide out, so Alexander-Arnold tries to chip it to one of them. He tries to chip it to Matip, but he cannot connect with the Cameroonian, and the ball goes out of play. It's going to be another goal kick for Nick Pope to take. Jurgen Klopp is in conversation with Craig Pawson. He might still be talking about the red card for Virgil van Dijk. I can't imagine what else he'd be in such a deep discussion about at the moment. Guimaraes under pressure from McAllister, able to find Botman. Cher again. Trippier, ball over the halfway line down the wing to Almiron. Almiron back to Kieran Trippier. Gets his head up, trying to look for some options. Just plays it short to Guimaraes. Plays it back to Fabian Cher. The Brazilian collects once more, being pressurised by Endo, who's getting forward. Botman to Cher once again. Kieran Trippier. Forward, Almiron, who's come well back into his own half. Plays it to Cher again. Dan Burn. Over the halfway line to Gordon. He cuts back. Botman again in field. Trippier's there. Now forward to Tonali. Nice from Newcastle. Wide now to Joe Linton, who's on the left wing. Joe Linton driving at Alexander-Arnold. Cuts back. Gets the cross in. Where's he going to fall? Almiron was there with a free effort with his left foot inside the penalty area. But the bobbling ball was difficult for him to control and he couldn't keep it down. He fired it well over the top of Alisson's goal. And he really should have done better there, the Paraguayan. Just got his foot under it. The ball was bouncing. It can be difficult sometimes, but really, he should have done better with that one, Miguel Almiron. Liverpool unable to bring the ball up out of their own half. One back by Newcastle as Almiron in possession again. Trippier and Tonali involved. Almiron again, infield to Guimaraes. Trippier. Almiron back to the Englishman. Guimaraes tries to get forward to Tonali, but he just can't quite pick him out. Liverpool might be able to break here, but no great covering challenge by Sven Botman, but we're going to go back for an earlier challenge. And a yellow card has been shown by referee John Brooks. He was playing the advantage. And it's Kieran Trippier who has been booked for a foul on Alexis McAllister. Just caught him a little bit late as McAllister played the ball forward. So both right backs are in the book. Kieran Trippier for Newcastle, Trent Alexander-Arnold for Liverpool, and they were booked pretty much in the same minutes with the different halves. 6 minutes gone in this second period. Liverpool don't do anything with the free kick. Kieran Trippier, who's playing much more centrally at the moment, takes the 1-2 with Fabian Schär. Plays the ball forward to Tonali, who does well to pick out Schär again. Retreats back. Schär again, just keeping the ball between him and Trippier. Absolutely no intention. There's probably 6-7 passes between them, and finally Trippier decides the best course of action is to pick out his goalkeeper Nick Pope. Short pass for him available to Botman. Botman and Byrne now combining. Still among the back five. Finally they chip it forward. Trippier to Tonali. Tonali gets away from Endo. Plays the ball out wide, but it's too close to Alexander-Arnold. And it wouldn't reach Almiron. Andy Robertson bursting forward up to the halfway line. But he can't keep control. Concedes the throw, which Trippier has already taken. Schär goes crossfield and long and trying to retreat. Running backwards was Joe Linton, and he fell over onto his backside, rolled right over his head. A little bit of a comical one. Joe Linton not really seeing the funny side. Liverpool have got things moving again. Alisson in a very traditional green, all green kit this afternoon. I can't think of a better way to describe that colour of green, that shade of green I should say, than goalkeeper green. It really is the proper old-fashioned green colour that goalkeepers would always wear back in the day. If you don't know what I'm talking about, ask your dad. Ball wide to Almiron. Trippier. Schär goes wide to Dan Burn on the halfway line. Forward to Gordon. A little bit of a miscontrol from him that allows Alexander-Arnold to play it out. Throw in for Latoon. Fabian Schär. Just inside his own half. Trippier. Almiron wide. Cuts in field. Skips away from the challenge of Robertson. Now it's Botman. Trippier. Guimaraes being forced back, but then skips past Endo. Does really well there, Guimaraes, and he's opened up the space ahead of him. Still going to the edge of the area, wide to Anthony Gordon. Gordon trying to cut in field, releases the shot. It's a good effort with his right foot, curling one, but curling straight at Alisson, and it's another easy one for the goalkeeper to grab hold of. Really good work there from Guimaraes. Looked like he was being put under a lot of pressure, but soaked it up and then just turned and skipped past Endo. Newcastle have won the ball back. The throw in, and it's not going to sit up for Isak. The throw a little bit long. It ran away from the big Swedish striker. That's a play it goes. And Alisson will take the goal kick for Liverpool. Short to Gomez inside his own 6-yard box. Alisson. They're really inviting the pressure. Szoboszlai inside of his own area, back to Matip. Trent Alexander-Arnold under pressure from Byrne. Matip struggling to get the ball away, and Newcastle have won it back. Wide on the left. Joe Linton now. Gordon struggling to get the ball out of his feet, and Endo just did enough to force Gordon to concede the throw. Really good pressure being applied there by Newcastle, but that time neither Joe Linton nor Gordon could work something. And Liverpool have another chance to try and play their way out of trouble, and again it's not worked out. This time a good tackle by Joe Linton. Guimaraes this time not being so urgent and playing the ball back to the centre halves, who combine once more. It's Sven Botman this time. Byrne. Simple pass forward for Byrne is always on. Lovely 1-2 between Gordon and Joe Linton. First time cross. Where's it going to fall? Tonali is there. Oh, and it just wouldn't sit up nicely for him. And the touch from Joe Gomez was enough to prevent Tonali from getting the shot away. Liverpool able to clear, but only up to halfway line, and Newcastle will come again. Tonali tries to prod one through to Joe Linton, but it wouldn't work out for him either. Foul committed on Dominic Szoboszlai by Dan Byrne, and Liverpool will have a free kick 20 yards inside their own half, and finally they can maybe gain a little bit of ground. 11 minutes of the second half have elapsed. Joel Matip forward for 10-man Liverpool. It's straight to Kieran Trippier, who has an easy header back to his goalkeeper. They've moved it out to the left-hand side now, Newcastle, with Dan Byrne. He again finds Gordon, infield to Joe Linton. It's the same pattern for Newcastle on that left-hand side every time. Trippier in the middle again. Short 1-2 with Botman. And then back to the goalkeeper. Harvey Elliott was getting ready to come on for Liverpool, but that substitution might still be a couple of minutes away. Nice knee pass from Almiron and Trippier. Tonali can't keep it alive, but then it falls to Trippier, who feeds Tonali down the right-hand side. Tonali bursting down the wing, ball across, and Alexander-Arnold just had to poke that one behind for a corner. Anthony Gordon coming in at the back post. Again, really nice ball into the corridor of uncertainty, this time by Sandro Tonali. Corner has been taken. Anthony Gordon. Cross now. And the shot comes in. It's gone over the bar. Bit of a waste of an effort there. Bruno Guimaraes from 25 yards. Not able to keep that one down. And we're going to see two changes made by Jurgen Klopp. Harvey Elliott, number 19, is going to come on for Endo. His first start in the Liverpool shirt lasts 57.5 minutes, so Endo off for Harvey Elliott. And also Cody Gakpo's race has been run, and he's been replaced by Diogo Jota. So 3 changes in total for Jurgen Klopp, and 2 just before the hour mark. Elliott and Jota on. So 2 like-for-like changes, really. Perhaps a slightly more attacking midfield choice. Elliott on for Endo. And Gakpo, who started the game as the centre forward, which is where Jota started the game against Bournemouth, but I think it's going to be the left-hand side of the forward 2 with Salah on the right. And Jota does take up that position on the left-hand side, trying to put Trippier under pressure. He finds Tonali. Tonali back to Cher. And Cher and Botman have no one within 20 yards of them. Cher once more. Up to Trippier on the halfway line. The fresh legs of Jota trying to close him down again. But Trippier was too quick for him. Tonali and Cher in combination. Forward now to Almiron. Almiron has space to turn. Moving forward and uses the man out wide of him is Kieran Trippier. Trippier forward into the area, finds Isak. Isak holds the ball up and plays it back out to Trippier. Pass back to Tonali, and then Tonali's pass was just a little bit too far ahead of Guimaraes, who couldn't pick it up. And now Liverpool coming forward. Szoboszlai wide to Jota. Jota into the area. Jota tried to play it across, and Joe Linton getting back to intercept the pass and hammer it out for a corner. That was better from Liverpool. first involvement in an attacking sense for substitute Diogo Jota. I think he was trying to pick out the other sub on the far side, Harvey Elliott, who was arriving into the box, the back post. Corner, though, for Liverpool. It's the Hungarian 70 million euro rival from RB Leipzig, Dominik Szoboszlai, who's going to take this one. Over it comes, into a dangerous area, but Joe Linton gets his head on it. Out to Alexis McAllister. Robertson. Lovely touch from Szoboszlai to McAllister, and then he returns the favour. Szoboszlai now forward to Jota, and Jota's no-look pass infield perhaps should have been a look pass because it was too far ahead of Szoboszlai. Attack breaks down, but Szoboszlai wins possession back for Liverpool. Passing field to Salah, under pressure from Byrne. And then Joe Linton leaves this little something in on Harvey Elliott. The play continues. Joe Matip wide to Alexander-Arnold. His cross is low, turned away. Out as far as Matip, midway inside the Newcastle half. Harvey Elliott wide again to Alexander-Arnold. Another touch for Elliott. McAllister back to Matip. We've got all 9 red shirts well in Newcastle territory. Salah to the edge of the area, back out to Alexander-Arnold. Again, Alexander-Arnold with a cross to the outside of his foot. Turned away by Byrne, and then Anthony Gordon thumps it away. Joe Gomez with a good header, but he's drawn the foul from Alexander Isak. Isak with 2 hands out, as if to say, what on earth did I do there? So a little cause for concern here. Jason Tindall and Eddie Howe on the sidelines. And not looking as comfortable as they were perhaps 10-15 minutes ago. Free kick then for Liverpool, 40 yards out. Over it comes. The Gomez, who rises highest and can't get the header on target. Joe Gomez has never scored for Liverpool. This is his 175th appearance. And he didn't score in his 24 games for Charlton Athletic. So 199 games in professional football, 210 if you count his 11 England caps. Still waiting for his first goal. Newcastle have taken the goal kick short. Byrne finds Gordon, who picks it up on halfway. Drives at Trent Alexander-Arnold, then cuts back in field. Guimaraes in the centre of the Liverpool half. Lovely ball spread out wide to Trippier. Trippier just lays it off for Almiron. Almiron back in field. Guimaraes wide again to Trippier. Tonali's there as another option. Trippier 1-2 with Tonali. Under a lot of pressure though from McAllister. Right to the corner flag and has to put it in the cross, and it's a fairly poor effort by the Italian. Robertson. Back to Alisson now via McAllister. Out to Robertson again. Good header from the Scotsman. Lovely 1-2 with Jota. And Andy Robertson trying to burst through himself, and Joe Linton using his pace and his strength to get back. Rather industrial performance from Joe Linton, of course, signed as a centre forward, a position that he never really played much. Was a wide man for Rapid Wien, then had his spell at Hoffenheim as well, £40 million 4 years ago now, and reinvented himself as a central midfielder. Now Anthony Gordon bursting forward, takes a shot on himself and can't keep it on target. Anthony Gordon cut in, made a diagonal run from just inside the Liverpool half, wide on the wing. He just kept going and going, got to the edge of the box, and he was level with the penalty spot when he took the effort on goal. He just couldn't quite curl it. In fact, his standing leg just took a touch of the ball as he swung at it with his striking foot. I think that's what, in the end, forced him to shoot off target. Newcastle back in possession again. Tonali wins the ball from Joe Linton. Gets to the edge of the area, but then is forced back out wide. Dan Byrne getting forward now. Tonali again on the wing. Wants to provide an in-swinging cross. Decides against it. Botman into Guimaraes in the middle of the park. Again, he finds Kieran Trippier on the right wing. The Brazilian again. Now Newcastle just happy to keep possession in Liverpool territory. Botman and Cher. Now Byrne. Back to Botman. He's the furthest man back for Newcastle, other than Nick Pope, of course. 8 yards or so inside Liverpool territory, I should say. Wide again to Trippier. He's gone down under the challenge of Diogo Jota, and it's going to be a free kick for Newcastle United, pretty much level with the edge of the Liverpool penalty area, wide on the right wing. This one, a much better crossing angle, and this is ideal territory for Kieran Trippier. Liverpool holding their offside line more or less level with the penalty spot. There's just a one-man wall made of Mohamed Salah. Kieran Trippier just having a conversation with Anthony Gordon, who wanted to provide the short option. Plenty of men in the box. Kieran Trippier. Over it comes. Free header is there. Dan Byrne should have done better with that one. And in fact, it was Fabian Schär who got highest. But off target, header just went wide of Alisson's right hand upright, and Liverpool survived once again. And in fact, I'll get it right on the third occasion. It was Sven Botman who had the header, not Byrne, not Schär. But at least I picked him up quicker than Liverpool did. Lovely ball forward to Salah. This is the chance, and then excellent covering challenge. This time it definitely was Sven Botman made the challenge. Diogo Jota bypassed 3 Newcastle defenders with an expertly timed through ball for Salah to run onto. And just as he unleashed a shot with his left foot on the edge of the 6-yard box, Sven Botman threw himself at that one. And it's another Liverpool corner. This one not over yet as a contest. Nick Pope punches the corner away. It's going to go out for a throw. 25 yards from where Szoboszlai just took the corner. Szoboszlai waiting to take the throw. And Eddie Howe is preparing his first change. Callum Wilson is going to be entering the action fairly soon. Robertson takes a throw in the end. Szoboszlai back to Gomez. Across he goes to Matip. Up to the halfway line. Nice 1-2 with Alexander-Arnold. Still going forward, Matip. Wide to Salah. First touch in field to Harvey Elliott. Back out wide to Salah. Tries to go through Dan Byrne. And another corner conceded. And the 10 men of Liverpool soaks up a fair amount of Newcastle pressure. And for the first time in a while, the fans very high up in the away end have something to cheer, something to shout about. We've got 22 minutes of the 90s still to go. It's still Newcastle 1, Liverpool 0. Anthony Gordon's goal 3 minutes before Virgil van Dijk was sent off. Over comes the corner, and it's headed back and over his own goal line by Joe Linton. Not the desired outcome for the Brazilian there. He shakes his head. Safety first at least. And it's going to be Szoboszlai from this near side now to take another corner for Liverpool. Over it comes. It's close, and not sure whose touch that was, but it was turned away. Back out to Szoboszlai. Another cross comes in, and then another header. Turns it behind. It's Botman once more to concede yet another corner. He believes his shirt was being pulled. Matip was in there. Gomez as well. Newcastle not making the change yet. Andy Robertson over on the far side to take a third corner in quick succession for the Reds. Botman tightly marking Joe Gomez. Fabian Schär tracking Joel Matip. Diogo Jota standing right on the goalkeeper. Over it comes. Much better header away this time by Newcastle. It's all the way out to Alisson, who's 10 yards inside the Newcastle half. He finds Alexander-Arnold, chips one forward, and Pope might have an opportunity to shoot here. He's not going to take it. Alexander-Arnold's ball over the top, straight down the throat of Pope, who caught it, and I couldn't see on my screen, but Alisson would have been miles out of his goal still. Nick Pope didn't fancy the shot from 90 yards. Pope receives the ball back from his defence. Clears it long, this time up to the halfway line. Gomez under it. Matip finally brings it down. Anthony Gordon putting him under pressure. Guimaraes too, but he finds Robertson, who switches the play to Alexander-Arnold, who's in a little bit more space. Harvey Elliott receives. Back to Alexander-Arnold. We're in the final 20 minutes at St James's Park. Header from Cher. Tonali picks up, and as he retreats, decides to play it back to his goalkeeper. Botman playing the game at walking pace at the moment. Infield to Tonali. Tonali's pass almost cut out by Alexis McAllister. Newcastle just about managed to maintain possession. Across now to Trippier. Liverpool's tails very much up at the moment, and Trippier is forced to play it out. And Newcastle not dealing well with the pressure. There's going to be 2 changes, in fact, for Eddie Howe's men. Harvey Barnes is going to be entering the action as well. Off goes the goal scorer, Anthony Gordon. He's going to be replaced by number 15, Harvey Barnes, and Alexander Isak. No goal for him this afternoon. 2 goals on the opening day against Aston Villa. Can't add to his total just yet. Callum Wilson, who also scored against Villa on the opening day, will be coming on. And Anthony Gordon gets a great reception from the home crowd as he makes his way off. And another of the new signings comes on, and there's a 3rd change. Sandro Tonali makes way, and he's been replaced by number 36, Sean Longstaff. So 3 changes for Eddie Howe. We are back underway. Liverpool clear their lines. Up to the halfway line, it's been won back by Joe Linton. Now Harvey Barnes getting his first touch. It's a poor one. Can't pick out Callum Wilson. Liverpool being pressurised again. And Matip gives the ball away to Joe Linton. Byrne goes back to Botman. Cher wide to Trippier. Almiron driving down the right wing, trying to get away from Szoboszlai. Trippier now in field to Guimaraes. Newcastle just trying to calm things down and make Liverpool chase the ball for a couple of minutes. Byrne wide to Harvey Barnes. What can he do this time? Comes in field. Pass back to Botman. Now Dan Byrne again wants the option of Barnes, but it's not going to come quick enough. Botman cross field. Can he pick out? Oh, Almiron did well because Trippier wasn't going to get there. Back to Trippier now. Almiron, Longstaff, back heel, down the wing for Longstaff to reach. Oh, and the header there from Callum Wilson. Really lovely work. Miguel Almiron in particular kept the ball alive when the crossfield pass was too far ahead of Trippier. Played it back to the fullback, and then a lovely back heel along the byline for Sean Longstaff to chase. His cross first time was met at the near post by ahead of Callum Wilson, but a little bit too difficult for Wilson to keep on target. Barnes now driving forward, but runs straight into Alexis McAllister. McAllister needs an option. Harvey Elliott helps him out. Now Trent over the top. And the run of Salah is there. Pope out of his goal and gets the head on it. And has to sprint back as Mohamed Salah takes the throw. And a very tactical piece of work by a Newcastle fan who waited for Liverpool to take the throw in before throwing the ball back onto the pitch, which of course we had to stop the game. Nick Pope for the 2nd time in this game, timing his runs out of the area much better than he did in this fixture back in February. Ball over the top looking for Diogo Jota. And Jota believes he was fouled. Kieran Trippier and Jota went for the ball. And Jota threw himself on the ground there looking for a penalty. And Trippier was incredibly angered by the mere suggestion that he would have fouled Diogo Jota there. But thankfully for him, the referee wasn't interested. Nick Pope takes the goal kick short. Then receives the ball back and plays it wide to Trippier. Space now. Valmeron over at the halfway line. McAllister trying to chase him, but in vain at the moment. Into the area he goes, all the way of the post. What a run by Miguel Almiron. It's still alive. Harvey Barnes picks it up, puts the cross in and wins a corner for Liverpool. Shards of handball. Oh, excellent run there by Almiron. He just had too much space for McAllister. Cut in field, went around Gomez, and the left foot shot curled around the diving Alisson, but it hits the outside of the post. Couldn't get much closer there, Miguel Almiron. Looking for his first goal of the campaign. Managed 11 in all competitions last season. In fact, all of those are in the Premier League, and that's his best, by far his best. His previous best was 4 goals in the English top flight. Man, they signed back in January 2019 from Atlanta United. Corner for Newcastle over on the far side. So, right to the back post, Joe Linton keeps it alive, but it hits Jota and then it's cleared away by Matip. Another dangerous one, swung to the back post by Trippier, and this time it was Joe Linton, the man whose job it was to knock it back from whence it came. Liverpool are going to make their final 2 changes. Darwin Núñez is going to be coming on, and so is Jarrell Quansah. England under-20 international. Alexis McAllister is off. And just waiting to see who Núñez is coming on for. It's for Joel Matip. So a little bit of a gamble, perhaps we can say, from Jurgen Klopp. He's thrown on another striker. That's fair enough. He's got to try and score a goal here. But having already lost Virgil van Dijk, no Ibrahima Konate for Liverpool. He's taken off Joel Matip as well. So not many people this time last week could have expected Liverpool ending the game with a centre-back pairing of Joe Gomez and Jarrell Quansah. But here we are. Quansah making his debut for Liverpool. In fact, he's been on the bench a few times. And he hadn't been on the Premier League bench since December 2021. A game against Tottenham. He's on for his Liverpool debut. Academy product. Gets his first touch there. Plays it back to Alisson. Alisson to Gomez. Andy Robertson. Neat passes. Gomez and Szoboszlai back to Alisson. Szoboszlai again. Now Quansah inside his own area. Nice pass forward into Mohamed Salah, who had cut in field. Now Elliott. Elliott over the top, looking for a run of Darwin Núñez. He's picked him out. Takes it down fairly well, but he couldn't take it in his stride. And Newcastle able to recover. Joe Linton forward now. And Harvey Barnes in space on the wing. He's cutting in field. Harvey Barnes, will he take it on his own? Takes the shot. Wilson is behind him. Where's it going to fall? Alisson stops the ball going out for a corner. And Callum Wilson is incredibly frustrated. There was a simple pass on there for Harvey Barnes. I think he was caught in 2 minds. He was going to go himself, then stops, then decided he was going to take the shot after all. Yeah, took a deflection and went behind Callum Wilson. And that was a golden opportunity there. And Diogo Jota now is coming forward for Liverpool through the middle. Núñez tries to play it back to Jota as he was stumbling just a little bit too far ahead of the Portuguese. Elliott. In field and down goes Szoboszlai. Perfectly timed ball from Harvey Elliott a moment ago over the top to Darwin Núñez. A really difficult one to control, the ball coming over your shoulder like that. And Núñez did bring it down, but just to his left rather than take it on in his stride. And that was all the invitation Newcastle needed to win possession back. And Liverpool are camped in the Newcastle half again. Kwanzaa, who's playing out on the wing, it seems. He's a centre-back by trade. Perhaps a bit more of a utility man. 7 appearances and 1 goal for the England under-20 side. He's playing a full-back now with Trent Alexander in field of him. Trent goes to Gomez. Robertson. Szoboszlai back to Trent Alexander-Arnold, who now seems to be in a centre-back role. Forward to Salah. Salah to Jota. Now Nunez capitalises on the mistake. Darwin Nunez has equalised. Fantastic finish by the Uruguayan. He kept his shot low. He fired it right across. Nick Pope, who couldn't get down quickly enough, buries it in the bottom corner. And the 10 men of Liverpool have been putting Newcastle under pressure for the last 10 minutes or so. They've looked like the team with the man advantage at times, and it has paid off for them. I said it was a gamble by Jurgen Klopp. Well, it's paid dividends so far. Alexander-Arnold in the centre-back role, through to Salah. Salah cut in his first-time ball to Jota. Jota forward, and it was an awful touch by Sven Botman. The pass from Jota wasn't really that good, and it hit Botman on the backside. And he tried to regain control, but all he did was knock it perfectly into the path of Darwin Nunez, who from the right-hand side fired it straight across the diving Nick Pope. Into the bottom corner it went. We've got 8.5 minutes plus stoppage time to go, and the 10 men of Liverpool are coming from behind again. Another change. Joe Linton is off for Newcastle, and I believe it was Elliot Anderson who came on for him. I'll check that as soon as I can. We are back underway. Darwin Nunez's first goal of the campaign has made it Newcastle United 1, Liverpool 1. Fabian Schär and Sven Botman in possession again. Dan Burn. They might have to be a bit more urgent now, Newcastle. But they still have that man advantage, of course. Still the centre-backs working together. It was Elliot Anderson who came on for Joe Linton. Third time that Anderson has come off the bench thus far this season. Dan Burn, again short pass to Botman, who's on the halfway line. Over the top looking for Almiron, but he can't find him. Dan Burn with the header, but it's a poor one. Szoboszlai picks it out, and Liverpool are on the break again. It's Diogo Jota on the left wing. It's running at Schär, picks out the man. Oh, and Nunez tried to play it back to Diogo Jota. He couldn't pick him out though. Now Szoboszlai with the shot is blocked on the edge of the box, and Newcastle able to scramble it clear. Wilson goes down under a challenge. Play on though, says the referee. It's over on the far side now with Harvey Barnes. Barnes infield. Longstaff. Cross now to Kieran Trippier. Up to the halfway line. Liverpool just sitting off for the moment, letting Newcastle come at them. They're trying to hit them on the break. Botman once more. Didn't really know too much about Jota's pass. Not really too much he could do about it. Good pass forward to Guimarães, who's gone down. Foul committed on the edge of the centre circle by Dominik Szoboszlai. Newcastle United free kick. And I think the referee may have booked the Hungarian there. Newcastle have taken the free kick. Over the top they go, looking for Burn, who'd got up from the back. And his header went out of play. Goal kick for Liverpool. Seeing replay of the foul from a moment ago. And it may have been Nunez. Yes, Darwin Nunez, in fact, was booked for kicking the ball away. It wasn't Szoboszlai's foul that merited the yellow card. So 2 yellows that Liverpool have picked up in this game, both of them for either kicking or throwing the ball away. Botman is down injured after that free kick routine. So I'm just seeing replays of Nunez's equaliser. It was off the bottom of the post and into the back of the net. Perfect strike from the Uruguayan, who of course has had his critics and perhaps was unfairly compared last season to the other big signing, Erling Haaland. Perhaps last season was just a sighter for Darwin Nunez. Perhaps he'll really come good during this campaign. He's off the mark in the 3rd game of the season, his 3rd substitute appearance. Scored 9 times in the Premier League. I'm sure he'll be aiming for double figures at the very least this campaign. It looks like Newcastle are going to be forced into their final change of the afternoon. And Jason Tindall is giving some instructions to Matt Targett, the left back. It looks as if he's going to come on in place of Botman, and Dan Burn will probably move to the centre-back position. And Botman is being helped off the pitch by 2 physios and is not able to put too much pressure on his leg. A bad twist of the ankle there. So Matt Targett on for the final 4 minutes or so, plus injury time. His first minutes in the Premier League this season. I don't want to put a commentator's curse on it, but there's a winner in this one. I just wouldn't like to tell you who for. It's Newcastle who think it's going to be theirs at the moment. They're coming forward. Harvey Barnes on the left-hand side. He's got a man outside of him. He uses Anderson. Back out wide again. Longstaff involved as well. Infield to Guimaraes. And Guimaraes stabs one forward, but it's beyond everyone. And straight at Alisson. We've got just over 2.5 minutes of the 90 remaining. It's still 1-1 between Newcastle United and the 10 men of Liverpool. Callum Wilson believes Alisson is time wasting. Kept the ball in his hands much longer than the 6 seconds. Not that you ever see a goalkeeper punished for holding the ball for 6 seconds. Liverpool is struggling to clear their lines, and Newcastle might have half a chance here. The ball breaks into the area. Kept alive. Anderson out there on the far side. Back in field to Guimaraes. Again, a poor pass from him, but it's going to be picked up by Cher. Cher just waiting for a man to come available. Has to use Dan Burn in the middle. Targett. Harvey Barnes. Barnes in field to Guimaraes. Gets the return pass, almost falls to Almiron. The shot is blocked. Claims of a handball. Liverpool are able to clear it away. Salah is chasing it, but Targett was back there. Pope beats Mohamed Salah to the loose ball. Newcastle pick it up on the halfway line. They're coming forward again. Guimaraes through the middle. He's got a man free. The shot comes in and it's straight at Alisson. Powerful effort by Shaw, and Longstaff kept it low. Alisson had to make sure. Seeing a replay of a potential handball. No, definitely not. Almiron's shot. Another curling effort with his left foot. This time into the back of Andy Robertson. Definitely not a handball. Alisson pumps the ball long, and it's going to go all the way to Nick Pope. We're into the final minutes of the 90. Dan Burn. Now Matt Targett for Newcastle United, who have had the man advantage for over an hour. Now in that time they've conceded 1, scored 0. Almiron now. Trying to get away from Szoboszlai. Knocks the ball in field. Wilson's there, and Wilson couldn't keep his effort down. had to hook his efforts around Kwanzaa. Right-footed effort, he just didn't catch it as he would have liked. And the ball ballooned off his foot and went over the bar. We're about to find out how many minutes we have at the end of the game. We've had full complement of substitutions from both teams and 1 or 2 injury stoppages. We should have quite a few minutes. We've got 5, not too many by the modern rules of the game. 5 minutes for one of these sides to pick out a winner. Newcastle, the ones looking the more likely at the moment. Matt Target on the far side. Infield to Guimaraes again, just inside the Liverpool half. Trippier wide to Almiron. Almiron stabs one through, and it's going to be chased by Sean Longstaff, but he's not going to get on the end of that one. Well shielded. And out the ball goes. It's going to be another goal kick for Alisson to take. Newcastle, they had plenty of draws last season. 14 of them, in fact. Liverpool with 10. It looks like Liverpool might be getting their second of the season. That's a first for the Magpies, unless we can have a winner. Nick Pope goes long. Joe Gomez, though, underneath it. Brought down by Diogo Jota, who tries to turn away from Guimaraes and draws the foul. We've had 1.5 minutes almost. Liverpool have taken the free kick quickly, I think. I can't see on my screen. I've just got Jurgen Klopp and Craig Pawson, but I think perhaps they would have been called back. No, yeah, that's right. Dominic Szoboszlai still stood over the dead ball. Szoboszlai just waiting, and then he picks out Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa chips one forward for Alexander-Arnold to chase, but that one is far too close to Nick Pope. Plays it out wide. Targets out there. Infield to Longstaff. Crossfield, looking for the run of Kieran Trippier. Trippier brings it down. Good pass. Clipped forward into the box, and first to it was Anderson arriving into the box, and he just tried to flick it between Alisson's legs with a lovely back heel, but it just wouldn't go through him. Alisson gets something behind it. In fact, it was Longstaff, my apologies, who made the run into the box. Forward now, the chance for Liverpool to win it. Have they done it? Darwin Núñez! Darwin Núñez has turned this run around almost single-handedly. He screams in delight up to the Liverpool fans who are going delirious in the away end. And in the 93rd minute, the 10 men of Liverpool, courtesy of their Uruguayan star Darwin Núñez, have turned a 1-0 defeat into a 2-1 victory. I said there was a winner in this one. It looked like it was going to be Newcastle's, and somehow, after playing over an hour with an extra man, Newcastle are set to lose to Liverpool again. They are their bogey team. They just can't get it right against Jurgen Klopp. The ball given away in midfield by Guimaraes. Played through by Mohamed Salah, and Darwin Núñez was onside. Another perfectly timed run. Got away from the tiring Dan Burn, and once again hit it across Nick Pope from pretty much the same place where he scored his first, and into the side netting it went on the far side. Darwin Núñez, who has had his critics, has scored twice at St James's Park, and Liverpool have a chance now of a third, and Núñez is on a hat-trick. He's played it wide to Jota. Newcastle had poured men forward. Jota to the edge of the box now. He's got a couple of men waiting for it. Decides not to play it. Just going to hold on to possession now. Trent Alexander-Arnold picks it up. He's just heading straight for the corner. Anderson back there, and he's given away a throw, and Trent Alexander-Arnold is celebrating like he just scored a goal. He's won himself a throw right down by the Newcastle quarter flag. The assistant referee Akil Housen just having words with Trent Alexander-Arnold. And we're well inside the last minute of the 5. I'm sure because of the goal we'll have a little bit more added on. Shota just tries to play one into a dangerous area, but there's no one in a red shirt to pick it up. Slipped by Joe Gomez. This is a chance now for Callum Wilson. Yeah, he's got too many players around him. Gomez gets back and recovers. And the ball from Robertson can't be kept in play by Szoboszlai. Newcastle in a hurry now. Longstaff gone down, pushed over by Szoboszlai. And it's a free kick that Kieran Trippier is going to take. Wide on the right-hand side. About 30 yards from the goal line. Now, not the easiest one to put into the box. But Kieran Trippier is certainly able to. We had 5 minutes signalled initially. We are at 95-38 at the moment. Nick Pope is up there. It's going to be taken by Kieran Trippier. Nick Pope at the edge of the area. There's a man who's just gone down at the edge of the box. Joe Gomez and Sean Longstaff now being talked to by the referee. Nick Pope making himself a nuisance on the edge of the area. Kieran Trippier to swing it in with his right foot. Over it comes. It's towards Pope. I think he got a touch on it. It's going to go out over the goal line. And it's a goal kick. The chance has gone for Newcastle United. And that might be that. St James's Park is beginning to empty. Newcastle just cannot get it right against Liverpool, and it's going to be yet another win, an 11th win for Jurgen Klopp against Eddie Howe, who has never beaten the Liverpool manager either with Bournemouth or Newcastle United. And it's going to be just his 5th defeat. It is a 5th defeat under Eddie Howe at St James's Park, and 3 of the 5 defeats suffered by Newcastle United at home under Eddie Howe have come courtesy of Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool. They've done it again, and in remarkable style. They lost Virgil van Dijk after 28 minutes, 3 minutes after going behind to Anthony Gordon's goal. But 2 efforts from Darwin Núñez in the 81st and 93rd minutes. Brilliant passes both times from Diogo Jota and Mohamed Salah to set him up. What a turn up at St James's Park. It's finished. Newcastle United 1, Liverpool 2. Darwin Núñez, the hero for Liverpool. I've been Anthony Thomas, your commentator for Flash Score this afternoon. Thank you for listening, and please join us again very, very soon.